Do you ever feel like you have big dreams, but somehow you just can't make yourself take action? You know you want success. You know you want change. You imagine yourself living that life of freedom, achievement, and impact. But when it comes down to actually doing the work, you procrastinate, you scroll, you overthink, you wait for motivation, and then the day ends and you feel that heavy guilt. If that's you, you're not alone. In fact, most ambitious people struggle with laziness. It's not because you're weak, it's not because you're broken, and it's not because you don't care enough. The truth is, ambition and laziness often live in the same person, and understanding why and how to fix it could change everything. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man named Daniel. Daniel was a dreamer. He wanted to start his own business, build wealth, travel the world. He read books, watched videos, listened to podcasts. His mind was full of ideas, but every time he tried to start, he would freeze. The work felt too big, too heavy. Instead, he'd promise himself, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month, and slowly his dreams gathered dust. One night, Daniel sat on his bed, scrolling through his phone. Feeling worthless, he thought, why am I like this? I want it so badly, so why can't I move? That question haunted him until he stumbled on a simple truth. Laziness is not the opposite of ambition. Laziness is the resistance between where you are and where you want to be. It's the brain's way of protecting you from discomfort. And here's the shocking part. Your laziness is not proof you can't succeed. It's proof that you do want something big. Because the greater your ambition, the greater the resistance you'll feel before starting. Think about it. Nobody feels paralyzed by the thought of brushing their teeth, but ask someone to start a business, write a book, or change their life habits. Suddenly it feels overwhelming. That weight you feel? It's not weakness. It's the cost of wanting something meaningful. So what's the solution? How do you break free from ambition without action? The answer is simple. Stop fighting your laziness head on. Instead, outsmart it. Here's how. First, shrink the task until it feels impossible to avoid. Most people never begin because their dream is too big in their head. I need to lose 30 pounds. I need to build a seven-figure business. I need to write a book. That's overwhelming. Your brain sees that mountain and says, too hard? Let's rest. But what if instead of saying, I need to work out for an hour, you said, I'll just put on my shoes and step outside? What if instead of, I'll build a whole business, you said, I'll just write one idea down? The smaller the action, the harder it is to resist. And here's the secret. Once you start, momentum takes over. The first step breaks the wall of laziness. Second, build systems, not just goals. Lazy ambition happens when you live only in the dream. You love the idea of success, but you have no process. Imagine someone saying, I want to be a great writer. If they only wait for inspiration, they'll never finish a page. But if they build a system, like writing 200 words every morning, progress becomes automatic. Systems are the antidote to laziness. They remove decision fatigue and replace it with routine. Third, use the power of environment. You don't rise to the level of your ambition. You fall to the level of your environment. If your phone is always buzzing, if your desk is cluttered, if your friends are unmotivated, of course laziness will win. But if you design your environment for action, silence the distractions, keep tools ready, surround yourself with doers, you'll find that the lazy version of you disappears. Now let's go deeper. Why do ambitious people so often sabotage themselves with laziness? It's because of fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of not being good enough. Laziness becomes the shield. If you don't start, you can't fail. If you never try, you can still believe in your potential. That's the hidden trap. Laziness is not about being tired. It's about being scared. Daniel, the young man from our story, realized this. He admitted to himself, I'm not lazy. I'm afraid his business would flop. Afraid people would laugh. Afraid of wasting years on something that wouldn't work. Once he named that fear, everything changed. Because now, instead of fighting laziness, he could face the fear directly. And here's what he did. He decided that tiny, imperfect action was better than endless, perfect dreams. He wrote one business idea every day. He built one small product, even though it wasn't perfect. He launched it, failed, learned, and tried again. Step by step, his actions grew bigger. Within 2 years, he was running the business he once only dreamed of. Not because he killed his laziness, but because he stopped letting it control him. And that's the lesson for you. If you're ambitious but lazy, don't hate yourself. Don't think you're broken. Don't say, maybe I'm not cut out for success. Instead, realize this: your ambition is a gift. Your laziness is just the wall in front of it. And walls can be broken. If you start small, build systems, shape your environment, and face your fears. Think about this. Every person you admire has felt lazy. Every achiever has faced resistance. The difference is they didn't wait for motivation. They moved, even when it felt hard. They took small steps until laziness had no power. So, let me ask you, what's one small action you can take today? Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Maybe it's writing down your idea. Maybe it's going for a 5-minute walk. Maybe it's opening that book you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, let it be small. Because small actions create big momentum. And here's the final truth: success doesn't belong to the busiest people. It doesn't belong to the most disciplined robots. It belongs to those who take consistent steps, no matter how small, no matter how imperfect. You don't have to kill your laziness. You just have to outsmart it. So the next time you call yourself lazy, stop. Instead, remember this: ambition means you have a dream worth chasing. Laziness means your brain is resisting the discomfort. And action, tiny, consistent action, is what transforms that battle into victory. Be ambitious. Be imperfect. Be brave enough to start small. Because in the end, ambition without action is only a wish. But ambition with action, even lazy, clumsy, messy action, that's how dreams become reality. So stop waiting, stop judging yourself, and take that one small step today, because your future is waiting on the other side of laziness. And hey, if this message inspired you, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more life changing ideas, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your answer.